today I'm going to be making rainbow sprinkles. I'm going to be using as a base something called Aquafaba. Now it acts just like egg white, so these are completely vegan. Now Aquafaba you can buy, but it's extremely expensive, as are sprinkles for the amount you get. So if you have a tin of chickpeas, strain them, keep the fluid, and that's what we're going to use. If you don't have, but you do have dried chickpeas, then just cook a cupful of chickpeas, about 100 grams. Once you've cooked them, strain them. You can use the chickpeas for something else, for another project, but reserve the water. Now this will only keep really for a day, but what you can do is freeze the juice in ice cube trays, and then you can just take it out as you want it and use it as an egg replacement. Anyway, let's get started. I boiled my chickpeas and I've taken 45 mils of the juice, which is what I'm going to use today. This is better than using egg white because the Aquafaba actually makes your sprinkles quite hard, which is great. So I'm just going to whisk this until it's frothy. Just as you would egg white. I'm going to add to that my icing sugar. And what we're aiming for is a kind of royal icing. So I'm going to start this up and I'm going to add my sugar. The weights and measurements should come up in a moment. A little bit at a time. Do make sure that you sieve your icing sugar, because we don't want any lumps to be clogging up our piping bags later. I'm going to start adding this now. Okay, here we go. Now you can see that's sort of coming down in a stream, but it's quite gloopy. This is quite, look, quite thick and gloopy, and that's what we're looking for here. So I've divided up my bowls and I'm going to make, this should be a light blue. Now I'm using organic gel food colouring and I only need a little bit in here. This is yellow. Little drop. I might put a tad more in there just because the yellow seems to not be quite so pigmented. This one is a violet. This one's green, and these are the colours I'm going to use. All I'm going to do is take a teaspoon and mix this together. Oh, look at that beautiful colour there. You can do these sort of Christmas colours or whatever you want. I can't remember what colour. Oh, this is the green. Very nice. Now, if you're using a liquid, this is going to, you know, pull it down a bit, make it a little bit more wet. These gels don't really affect it at all. But you need to work fairly quickly, I suppose, with this, because after all, it is a type of royal icing. Okay, I'm going to carry on and mix my colours. Right, there we go. They're the beautiful colours that I'm going to be making today. Now, we need to put some of these to one side and cover them with a damp tea towel, because what we don't want them to do is dry and go really hard. So these are wonderful. These are just greaseproof paper cones or piping bags. I didn't actually make these. I used to make them years ago, but I can't do them with one hand. So I tend to use the disposable bags, but I find that they're a bit big for this job. So my husband just sat and made me a great big bunch of these, and they're much smaller to deal with. So now all we've got to do is transfer our icing into our piping bag. A little bit of patience with this. Beautiful colour, I'm so pleased with that one. Absolutely delightful. And it's in. There we go. And then all I'm going to do is bring this together. As you can see, I've got icing everywhere. But I do that, don't I? Just pinch that together. I'm going to fold the sides in, which is easy enough to do. Because what I don't want is for it all coming out at the end, out of the top. Then I'm going to just squidge it over like this. There you go. And I'm going to cut a tiny bit off the end of my tube. Just snip it off the end. There we go. Can you see how much I've taken off that? It is absolutely minuscule. All I'm going to do now is pipe lines along. Hold your tube up and let it drop onto the paper like this. And then you tend to get the thickness that you want. Don't worry about cracks, that's not a problem at all. That's to do with me not pushing my bag enough. Oh, and she's piped the side as well. Okay, so you're just gonna carry on making these lines on parchment paper. Really, just keep going. I'll go, oh, doesn't matter if you drop bits, it's not a problem. Here we go. Ooh. And we're going to do the same with all the other colours. I'll see you when I've done that. Well, I've finished piping my lines. I am absolutely smothered in icing. As you can see, I did them with varying amounts of success. The pink ones went great. Blue one's not too shabby, but I've got a couple of blobs here. Not worried about that. On green, I cut the tip too fat. But I'm keeping those as well because I can just cut them down smaller. And the yellow is actually quite good. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave these until tomorrow. Leave them overnight. You want a good few hours. I think I can probably cut these into little squares. So, if you're not very good at piping, like me, it really doesn't matter. So, I'll see you when these are ready to cut. All of my sheets have dried out now, so all I've got to do is cut them now. As you can see, this green, I cut the tip too fat, and this is what happens, but I still think that we can do something with those. So I'm not overly worried, because we want our sprinkles to have all sorts of shapes and sizes anyway. So I've got something to cut these up with now, so I can just cut them where I want them. Oh, do you hear that snapping? There we go. Which is what we want. You need these to snap. There we go. And we're just going to work our way across, making lines. And this, you can have fun with it. Look, I've plopped it over there. Just have fun with it. Cut them where you want initially, because you can always break them up when you get them over here. So just go through making your, oh, there we go. The fatter ones are going to be a bit more hard to cut. I'm going to carry on breaking up all of my lovely sprinkles, and I'll show you them when I'm done. All I need to do now, as you can see, I've got all my colours here. I might take that out, or I'll make it into small little bits. You may have some fat bits. My piping skills are absolutely hideous, but look at these. Look at those, beautiful. Now you can just mix them together, and if you see any big bits that you don't want, just chop them down. Simple, like that. Then they will go into my jar. There we go. These are the colours that I've made today. Now I'll probably break those down a bit, but I'm not going to do it yet, because on some cakes I like the bigger ones and on others not so good. So these are now going to go into my jar. Now you can make whatever colour you like, and they are so simple to do. Now I've priced up sugar strands or the sprinkles in my local shop, and for just 60 grams it's €2. €2. So this, for just a little bit of icing sugar, and again I use the Aquafaba for this. This has cost me next to nothing to make. Now I've got sprinkles to put on all sorts of things. Well, I hope you liked what you saw. If you did, please like, share and subscribe to see me making more cost-effective, beautiful food. Thank you for watching.